We all know that EV fires, while less likely than combustion cars to catch fire, well, perhaps, as I'll explain later, if they do catch fire, the consequences can be disastrous. If you've been following this channel for any length of time, you'll know about thermal runaway, when a lithium-ion battery becomes a self-sustaining blowtorch that cannot be extinguished with traditional firefighting methods. It's basically a question of waiting until it burns itself out. Fine if it's out in the open, not so great if it's in an underground car park beneath a block of apartments. The insurance industry has been struggling to keep up with the rapid pace of change, but the winds are definitely shifting, and insurers are starting to realise just how much of a risk EV and lithium-ion battery fires can be, and their potential for catastrophic losses. Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney YouTuber. If you wish to keep up with all the EV and net zero insanity, please click that subscribe button down below and enable all notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you'd like to support this channel, head over to my store where you can purchase some cool anti-EV merch, or alternatively you can chip in a small donation at Buy Me a Coffee. Links to both are in the description, or you can scan the QR codes on screen. If you Google EV fire versus combustion car fires, you get some ridiculous comparisons like 1,500 per 100,000 combustion cars against 25 EVs. Who knows where these figures come from, as there seem to be an awful lot of EV fires that don't get included in the calculations, and an almost unbelievable number of regular car fires. I can't remember personally the last time I saw a car on fire of any kind, but combustion car figures include all kinds of other fires, both accidental and deliberate. A significant proportion of combustion cars that make up the statistics were cases of arson, stolen cars that are torched in order to conceal evidence after being used in a crime. But those fires are included in the total, just like purely accidental fires. And no rational criminal would ever use an EV for a getaway car anyway, as it would inevitably run out of battery before the pursuing police car runs out of petrol. Anyway, despite that, as we've seen, EV fires can be extremely dangerous when they do occur, and that is most likely when being charged. Where does that happen? In your driveway or garage, if you're lucky enough to have those luxuries, and therefore a fire would invariably destroy the entire house as well. Compare that with most combustion car fires, which happen when the vehicle is being driven, when the fuel pump is running and the exhaust is hot, a dangerous combination in the event of a fuel leak, or when the electrical system is energized. A cold car sitting in a garage is very benign compared to the vast amounts of chemical energy in an EV battery, wound up as it is like a coiled spring. Insurance companies aren't going to continue paying out for an entire house for long. Either premiums will go through the roof, or they'll refuse cover if an EV is parked inside or anywhere close. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. Electric car fire rates could soar amid fresh warnings of explosions and toxic chemicals. A new report has warned about the risks involved with electric vehicle ownership as more drivers decide to ditch their petrol and diesel cars. A new research paper from Allianz Commercial has collated some of the largest risks associated with EV ownership and the threats that could arise in the coming years as adoption grows. It states that the world could see over 200 million electric vehicles on roads by the end of the decade, which will require a suitable charging network to support motorists making the switch. The Global Risk Dialogue report identified that while electric vehicles are not more likely to catch fire compared to an internal combustion engine vehicle, other concerns are present. It warns that thermal runaway, explosions, and the release of heavy metals and toxic chemicals could result in heavy losses. Thermal runaway is more common among electric vehicles given the large lithium-ion batteries. It appears when there is a significant and sustained rise in temperature of the cells inside the battery, potentially leading to a fire or explosion. Rafael Riobu, regional head of risk consulting for Allianz Commercial's Iberia region, said, "The riskiest moment in an EV's life concerning battery risk isn't driving, it's charging." He warned that electric vehicle chargers can overheat or short circuit, which can cause damage to the vehicle's battery system. Fire brigades around the world have adopted new measures to protect against the dangers of EV fires, including thermal cameras, fire blankets, and submerged containment tanks. And just as a regular car sitting in a garage is fairly benign, if a fire does occur, you can usually put it out with a watering can, or, joking aside, a small fire extinguisher. Try doing that with your EV battery fire. As more people are forced to buy EVs by governments run by net zero zombies, like our own, more people will charge on driveways or in garages, and catastrophic losses will rise exponentially. I've linked to the actual Allianz Global Risk Dialogue report in the description, as well as the news story, so you can read it for yourself. But here are a few key extracts pointing out some of the potential areas where problems could arise. And we start off with some of those slightly dubious statistics which everyone seems to quote. EV fires less frequent but severe consequences. According to the United States National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, EVs experience approximately 25 fires per 100,000 vehicles sold, while gasoline-powered vehicles average around 1,530 fires per 100,000, making internal combustion engine vehicles about 61 times more likely to catch fire. Data from the International Council on Clean Transportation, ICCT, and a number of government authorities supports this, indicating that EVs pose no higher fire risk than combustion engine cars, and often lower. The problem is that when EVs do burn, the consequences can be severe. Fires involving charging infrastructure can cause significant damage. While EV fires are rare, a notable share of those that do occur are linked to charging. Estimates suggest in the range of 15 to 30%. When they do occur, the losses can be substantial, often amounting to hundreds of thousands of dollars. In May 2025, 4 vehicles caught fire while an EV was charging in Mountain View, California. The source was traced to a lithium-ion system. Total damages, including vehicles and charging equipment, reach an estimated $275,000. For station operators, further costs can follow: downtime, environmental cleanup, and site contamination. Liabilities often covered only by tailored insurance policies. Looking ahead, Ciro Mirengo views grid overload as one of the most underappreciated risks associated with EV chargers. It's not just a cable and a plug, says the senior liability risk consultant at Allianz Commercial. An EV charger is a node on the grid, a fire risk and a cyber target. These are all real vulnerabilities, but one is often overlooked. We're plugging cutting-edge technology into century-old infrastructure and not always asking whether the grid can actually cope. This issue won't remain theoretical for long. As EV adoption climbs and millions of drivers plug in after work, just as solar output drops, the risk of overload grows exponentially. Our power grids were not originally designed or tested for this kind of simultaneous load, warns Mirengo. Unless we invest in smarter, more resilient systems while fostering close collaboration among all stakeholders as well as interested parties, we could be setting ourselves up for a cascade of failures. As I say, go and read the whole article at the link in the description. But what this says is that the insurance industry is starting to face up to the very real threat of catastrophic losses flowing from EV fires, like the Morning Midas, Felicity Ace and Fremantle Highway car carrier ships, all of which were total losses as a result of fires, either started or exacerbated by the presence of lithium-ion batteries in EVs or hybrids. Billions of dollars lost as a result of a single faulty lithium-ion cell in just one EV, perhaps? The insurers aren't going to wear that kind of loss for long. If you'd like to support this channel and display your anti-EV credentials to your Tesla-owning neighbours at the same time, why not buy some awesome MGUY merchandise, like this mug, this baseball cap, or this t-shirt? Each high-quality item sports the MGUY No EV sign, and they're all made to order, perfect for irritating the hell out of your local EV zealots. Visit store.mguy.tv or click the link in the description to check out the full range of products. And of course, you can always just buy me a coffee. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any tips or stories, go there. If you'd like to watch another video, go there. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, go there. And please subscribe to the channel.